Great day, kings and queens. Welcome to another conversation with Drew, where it's an honor truly to serve this gift that I've been given. And it's such a blessing, to be able to share this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I've gained through these experiences that's helped me to become the best version of myself. That's also, giving you encouragement and, edification, so that you may accomplish being the best version of yourself. This is a Thankful Thursday, and it's just such an honor, to come before you guys, to share this truth with you guys. And I wanted to really just touch on, being able to play while you're hurt. That's why I hashtag it playing while you're hurt, because a lot of us don't understand, the ability that we have. We don't understand the power that's within us, that allows us to be great still in the midst of everything that we're going through. And it's very challenging, to be able to understand that. It's very challenging to be able to express that. I'm a sports head. I love sports. Basketball, football, boxing, and one thing that I've always heard with the greats, and that, always amazed me, is that they always say, that no one's ever 100%. Nobody's ever out there, like operating with a completely healthy body, whether it's a sprained ankle or a toe or a finger or elbow or, a quad, something is hurting. And it's just so amazing when you understand the ability to be able to play while you're hurt, and again, I've watched, all the greats, like Michael Jordan, one of his greatest games was playing, when he had the flu. I've heard many boxers out there, who had to box, with a broken hand. I remember Toro Gotti had to fight with a broken hand. It's like you see all of these great athletes, have to overcome adversity. They have to overcome, adversarial times, in their lives in order to be a champion. And that same thing relates to us, and we have to understand the ability to be able to be a champion, to have that championship spirit, something that we were all born with, to be able to play while we're hurt. To be able to play, why, the finances aren't stacking up, to be able to play, why you just went through a divorce, to be able to play, why you, just went through a heartbreak, to be able to play, when everything is not stacking up. You know what I mean? Somebody said, and go Cubs World Series champ. That's what's up. To be able to play, in the midst of your pain, and to be able to play in the midst of your hurt. How can you still be great? How can you still serve the greatness inside of you? How can you still smile when you have every reason to frown? How can you still overcome the very things that you're going through? You know what I mean? It's not that light where I'm at. I know what I'm doing, King, with this light. Somebody said it's not that light where I'm at. I know how to work the magic with the cameras and the light and all that. That's the great thing of what we have. We have the intestinal fortitude to be able to serve still while we're in the midst of what we're going through. I had an opportunity to speak yesterday at a middle school to a group of amazing children. And it was just so beautiful to be able to express the gifts that's in me, to be able to truly share what's in me, why I'm where I am in life, to be able to go and impact people's lives while I'm where I am in life. I don't believe I'm in the greatest place in life, but I still have the ability to be great. I still have the ability to serve what it is that's inside of me, because we came from greatness. We came from power. We came from authority. And so in whatever you're going through, whatever you're struggling with right now, whether that's an addiction, whether that's low self-esteem, low confidence, you have to understand that you have the ability to be great wherever you are. You have the ability to be great in the midst of your rut. You have the ability to be great in your pit. You have the ability to be great. But that's the thing, right? That's what we have to understand as the greatest creations in the earth. We have to understand this. What good is it to smile when everything is great? Everybody can smile and has something to cheer for when everything is great. How much more noble, how much more powerful, how much more beautiful it is to be able to smile in the midst of the worst storm you ever gone through in life. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is it to have faith in the midst of when everything is falling apart? How beautiful. It's easy to have faith. It's easy to believe in God. It's easy to have joy when there's nothing going on, nothing wrong going on in life. But can you smile when everything is hitting the fan? When the funk is hitting the fan, can you still have the ability to smile? That's when it counts. That's when it matters. That's when it's needed. That's when it's necessary. You don't need to have faith when everything is great. You don't need to have joy when everything is great. When you are in the midst of your crisis, you are in the hardest place in life. Can you still smile? Can you play hurt? Can you play while you're injured? And that's what I've learned, listening to these kids yesterday. I'm hearing things from these kids that they're going through at the ages of 12 and 13 years old. And it's just so amazing to understand, like, it does not stop, kings and queens. Understand that. You will continually go through things in life, but when you conceptually understand that every single thing that you are going through in life literally is a promotion, you will begin to understand the value of being able to celebrate, being able to find joy, being able to find peace in the midst of your storm or in the midst of your crisis or in the midst of your trial tribulation, right? Because I had to understand this for myself. Like, Drew, how is it that you're still serving every day? How is it that you're still desiring to encourage people every day? Where do you find that? And it really dawned on me, like, man, Drew, you come from that. That's where you was designed from. That's where the creator of the universe poured you from. So it doesn't matter what you go through. This is what's so amazing. That's why we go through these tests, right? Because you have to understand that when you say you want to be great, when you say that you want to reach for greatness, when you say that you want more than mediocrity, when you say that you desire more than average, that has to be tested, right? Everything that we say in life, it has to be tested. That's what you have to understand. And that's what I had to understand. It's like when I say yes, okay, well, I'm willing to serve my purpose to become the best version of Drew Clayborn. That had to be tested. That's what was so powerful, right? It was so crazy because I didn't recognize that. So when everything hit the fan, you know what I mean? I'm just like, hold up, this is not how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to be roses on the ground, like Coming to America. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to be, fireworks going off. It's supposed to be bang, bang. It didn't work that way. Balloons supposed to be popping off. It didn't work that way. It became more challenging because I stepped up to the plate to receive all the blessings that were created for me, right? I was listening to my guy Maurice Claret the other day, and he said one thing that I noticed, man, he was like, is that every time that I receive a great blessing, he said it's always met with great adversity. And I was, and as I was listening to him, I'm just like, man, that's so true. Every time we receive something great, it's either right after we've gone through something tragic or we've gone through something that was adversarial. And what we have to understand is that's life. Because, when you say that you want something great out of life, or when you're striving for something great out of life, it has to be tested. Why? Because it's the same thing that if I was to give you $10,000, 9 times out of 10, you'll go and blow that $10,000, or you'll spend it a little fast, right? But if you earn that $10,000, your mindset works different on how you distribute that cash out, right? Because you had to work for it. You had to earn it, right? So if everything in life was just handed to us, we wouldn't be able to appreciate it. So when we go through these situations or these crises, it's preparing us to be able to appreciate the next level in life. That's what graduation is all about. You've gone through the second grade. You experienced everything in the second grade. So that's why graduating feels so great, because you know everything that you had to experience in this last grade or this last level that you were on. So in order to be able to appreciate the next level where we're going to, it has to be tested. It has to be tested. So that's why we have to learn the ability to be able to play while we're hurt, to be able to play while we're injured, to be able to play still with a broken heart. How can you still serve somebody? To be able to play when your finances aren't where you desire to be. How can you still serve somebody? To be able to play when what you are seeing is not what you saw, the vision that you had of the greatness that's in you, to be able to still serve instead of saying, I'm going to wait till that greatness come and then that's when I'm going to serve my gift. That's not how it works. That's not life. It was so powerful, right? When I was reading about Jesus Christ and when he was baptized, this is what's so powerful. Again, every time something is said, it has to be tested, right? This is what was so powerful when I was reading the story. When he was baptized by John the Baptist, right? It was so beautiful, right? Because it says that basically like the heavens cracked open, you know what I mean? And the voice of the Lord came and said, this is my son who I am very well pleased, right? So basically he got the validation of being great right then and there, right? The whole world who heard this knew that this was the Son of God, that it was validated, that it was so, right? This is what's so powerful. And then the next thing it says is that he was then sent into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights to be tested. To be tempted. Why? Because that word had to be tested. And that's what you have to understand. Like, if Christ himself had to go through it, we are not exempt. We have to understand that when you strive to be great in life, when you are in pursuit of purpose in life, when you are out here ready to be whatever you were created to be in life, that has to be tested when you agree to it. It has to be. Look at every person that you've ever looked up to, every person that you've ever admired, every person from a celebrity to a parent, to a pastor, whatever the case may be, and ask them or listen to their story. That's like when LeBron James just won his championship, right? The first thing he said out of his mouth, he said when he was being interviewed, he said, man, I don't know why the man upstairs always want to make me take the hard route. That was the first thing that he said. Why? Because what he went through to get to that championship, to bring the Cleveland Cavaliers their very first NBA title, it had to be tested beyond what we know. We don't know the thoughts that he had to wrestle with when he was at home with his wife by himself. We don't know those thoughts. We don't know the conversations that he had in silence and in secret. We don't know the things that he had to go through, but we know that it was tested. But he had to play while he was hurt. He had to fight through all of those mental battles. He had to fight through all of those psychological, all of the commentary out there, all of the analysts out there to say that he'd never be able to bring Cleveland in a championship, all of those people out there who burned his jersey, all of those people out there who despise him. He had to fight through all of that in order to fulfill what he saw. He saw he was going to bring Cleveland a championship because he was born and raised in Akron, Ohio, and that's what he believed. So when you understand that, kings and queens, you recognize that you have to play while you're hurt. You can't go recoup and be 100%. You can't stop serving people. You can't stop loving people. You can't stop showing people mercy. You can't stop showing people grace because you went through something bad or because you're going through something bad. It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. You have to learn to play while you're hurt. But it's value in that, because when you understand the law that whatever you give, it has to be given back to you. That's the joy of it, though. You can't give something and it falls short. I had a conversation with a young lady yesterday, right? And she was like, Drew, what you just went through in this breakup, she said, did that make you question you? Did that make you question your ability? Did that make you question the stuff that's inside of you? And I said, heck no. I said, I know that I'm a great man. I said, I know that I'm a great individual. Just because somebody walks away from you, just because somebody stopped believing in you, that's not indicative of what God said about you. That's not indicative of the greatness that's inside of you. No. How can that make me question me? Yeah, but that's what we go through in life. It's like things that we experience. It's almost like people believe that it's supposed to make you question yourself. No, I'm still just as great. I'm still just as valuable. It's just that person was not for me. That person was just not for you. That situation was just not for you, regardless of how much it hurts. Regardless of how much it seems like it stole something from you, the reality of it is that you're still great. You just have to learn to play while you're hurt. You have to learn to play while you're injured, because that is what defines the greatness in you. Again, when we say Michael Jordan, 9 times out of 10, the first basketball game that pops up in our head is when he had 63 points when he had the flu. That's what we think about when we think about Jordan. Man, you see him in that flu game. The flu game. He balled out. He had 63 points when he had the flu. The image that goes in our head is when he's laying on Scottie Pippen's shoulder and Scottie Pippen carrying him off to the locker room. That's the image that we see. Why? Because he played while he was hurt. That's what we have to be able to conceptually understand, that we have that same ability to play while we're hurt in the game of life. You have that ability, kings and queens. It may hurt. I'm right there with you. I'm not exempt. Andrew Clayborn, the one who's come to you every morning and speak to you in another conversation with Drew, I'm not exempt. I'm not exempt from going through things. I'm not exempt from struggling with different things. I'm not exempt from having a hurting heart. But what I realized is that, what does it say about me, about the greatness that was put in me by the creator of the universe? What does it say about me if the only time that I can come before you guys and serve you guys is when everything is on an up and up in my life, when everything is flowing perfectly in my life, when everything is great in my life? No. I was given an assignment to come to you guys every single day, to be great before you guys every single day. It does not matter what I'm going through, but what it does for me. What I realize is what it does for me is it shows the true measure of the greatness that's in me. Just like you, to be able to walk into your job force today with a hurting heart, with problems in your life, with struggles in your life, with failures and letdowns in your life, with questions about, are you at that great? To be able to walk in there and with a smile on your face and still be able to serve people with everything inside of you, that determines your greatness. That determines your greatness. When I think about the Nelson Mandelas of the earth, you know what I mean? When I really think about that, like, to be a lawyer, to have a degree in being a lawyer and still say, you know what? I'm going to still sit in this prison for 27 years until y'all get this right. Until y'all get this right. You don't think that that man was hurting? All the people who turned their back on him, all of the people who stopped believing in him, all of the people who he was sitting in that funky prison cell for, who stopped believing in him, you don't think that that man was sitting in there hurting? But he still believed. He still served. And we'll remember Nelson Mandela for the rest of the world. That's what you have to understand, kings and queens, that you won't be remembered by the things that you can walk away from. You won't be remembered by your celebrations. You won't be remembered by the great times. You will be remembered, kings and queens, when they say, man, that that young king or that young queen was able to play while they were hurt. In the midst of everything that they were going through, they overcame it and became great. Man, we didn't even know that such and such was going through a divorce, or we didn't even know such and such was going through an affair. We didn't even know that they were out here struggling with an addiction. We didn't even know that they were out here with low self-esteem and low confidence. We didn't know that they were fighting obesity in their mind. We didn't even know that they didn't even have the confidence that was needed. All we saw was the greatness that was inside of them. That's what we're supposed to serve every single day. That's what we have the ability to serve every single day. That is what shows your greatness. Not when everything is peachy, not when you're able to turn up, not when you're able to buy a new car, not when you're able to afford a new house, not when your kids are getting straight A's, not when everything is perfect. That does not define you. What defines you is to be able to be great in the midst of your storm. In the midst of your rut, in the midst of your pit, to be able to serve every single thing inside of you. I'm telling you, I am a living testament of it. I'm living it as we speak. I don't tell everybody everything that I go through, but I'm telling you, I'm living it as we speak. Because I understand the power in it. I understand that greatness is defined by the things that you overcome, not by the freaking celebrations. You have a leader inside of you right now that is dying to come out, that is saying that, hey, the things that you're going through right now, hey, it's for you to become great, not for you to retreat and run from. It's for you to become great right now. That's what you have to understand, that these things that are happening to you are not punishing you. They're promoting you, or they're preparing you. They're either preparing you or promoting you. They're not punishing you. They're trying to get the greatness out of you. If a seed didn't have to go into the ground and it can just lay there and just sprout, if it didn't have to go through the germination process, do you not think the seed would just do that? Look, just lay me on top of the soil pit. Don't dig up that hole. Don't put me down in that hole. Don't cover me up and leave me in there by myself. You know what I mean? To have to bust up out of this shell, to have to go through this germination process. Don't do that. Just lay me on top of the soil. I'm good. It doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. It has to go down into that dark place. It has to go into that place and be alone. It has to go in that place in complete silence. It has to go into that uncomfortable, unfamiliar situation in order to be stretched to become the greatest version of itself, and that's producing a tree. How can we get that up out of you, kings and queens? There's no way that we can get that up out of you unless you recognize and realize that you have to learn how to play while you're hurt. All the greats, all the stories about the greats, they always say that we were never completely 100% healthy, because they had to play while they were hurt in order for them to show their greatness. Again, when we say Michael Jordan, the first thing that popped into our mind, the flu game. The first thing that popped into our mind, the flu game. Because we admire those who were able to overcome adversity and show their greatness. Why we think that we admire LeBron James, bro? Because we seen you play on the Cleveland Cavaliers team for 9 years, and all you had was a Boobie Gibson. That's all you had was a Boobie Gibson and an old Zadrunas Ilgauskas. But when you got a great cast around you, when you finally got the team that you deserve, you won championships. Because he had to overcome adversity. He became the villain. Everybody thought, when they thought about LeBron James, they thought about the decision. But now everybody loves him for the most part, because he overcame adversity and fulfilled what he was sent to do. Dude, I'm going to bring a championship back to Cleveland, Ohio, and he did it. He overcame adversity, down 3-1 in a series. There's no greater story. You're looking at that like, wow, that's amazing, because it was designed for him to play while he was hurt. He was hurt emotionally, he was hurt psychologically, and he probably was hurt physically. But that's what we have to understand, that these adverse times, they come into our life, kings and queens, not to punish us, not to bury us, but to prepare us, to promote us, and to give us life. You have to recognize that that same greatness is inside of you, that you are not exempt. Again, when the skies parted and the voice of the Lord came and said, "This is my son who I am very well pleased," after Jesus Christ was baptized, the next thing that it says is that he was then sent into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights to be tested or to be tempted. That's what you have to understand, that when you say that you want to be great, when you believe that there's greatness inside of you, when you want to come out of mediocrity, when you want to live above average, it has to be tested. That's just like when Peter said to Jesus, "Listen, I'll never forsake you. I'll never leave you. I'll die for this." When he said that, Peter, Simon, the enemy wants to sift that. He wants to test that. You'll deny me 3 times. Why was that? Because you have the ability and power to create when you speak and say something. Through your belief, you have the power to create when you say that. I said that I want to be great. Well, Drew, you got to go through some great things. You have to go through some great adversity in order for you to receive those great blessings. Why? Because it has to be tested. I need to know, as the creator, that you can appreciate what I give you, that you can appreciate everything that you were created to have. Because if I just threw you out there and nothing was ever tested, how will you handle that? You don't know. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. What happens, right? Let me ask you this. What you're thinking right now, I'm asking you a question. What you're thinking right now, with your current circumstances, with your current livelihood, with your current lifestyle, if everything changed, right? If you got the millions that you desire in life, if you got the lifestyle that you desire in life, if you got the promotion that you desire in life, if you got the husband and wife or the relationship that you desire in life, are you ready to handle it? Real talk. Are you ready to handle it? If you got the attention that you desire in life, are you right now ready to handle it? Are you? That's the real question. Are you ready to handle everything that you are asking for out of life? Can you handle it right now? If you can honestly say, I don't know, then you're not ready. Do you have a plan to be able to handle $1 million? Do you have a plan to be able to handle that Fortune 500 company? Do you have a plan to be able to handle walking away from your job? Do you have a plan to be able to handle a great husband and a great wife? Do you have a plan to be able to handle that right now? That's why we have to be tested, because the test validates us. It proves who we are. It literally gives us that confirmation that we are able and that we are ready. That's like when a soldier goes out to battle. They just don't slap the equipment on that man and give him a rifle and then say, go out to war with killers out there. No, he has to go through testing to be able to prove, to see if he is psychologically and he is emotionally ready to go out there and go to war. I need to know when the funk hits the fan that you won't turn on me and kill me. I need to know when the funk hit the fan that when they get to busting them guns that you're gonna have my back. I need to know that. So I cannot send you out to war if you are not properly equipped, that if you are not properly prepared. It has to be tested. That vehicle that you just got out of, or that vehicle that you have to get in right now, it had to be tested before it was sent out. So when the tires stop working, or the engine give you some problems, we know that it still can get you from point A to point B in order to get that maintenance. It was already tested. That's what we're going through right now, kings and queens. That's why the greats become the greats, because they learn how to play while they're hurt. Can you continue to serve your gift? Can you continue to be the greatest version of yourself right now while you're hurt? In the midst of everything that you're going through, can you go out there right now and hold the door for another queen, king? In the midst of the heartbreak that you just went through, or will you just walk by like she didn't exist? Can you still go out there and give somebody a hug right now in the midst of your broken heart? Can you go out there right now and hand somebody $5 when you got $7? Can you go out there right now and say to somebody, hey, how you doing, in the midst of not getting attention the way that you desire? Can you do that right now? Can you go out there right now and give somebody an amazing word in the midst of the depression that you're in right now, in the midst of the discouragement that you're in? Can you do that, king? Can you do that, queen? That is what validates the greatness that's inside of you. Not when everything is beautiful. Not when the balloons is flying and the fireworks is going off. Can you do that right now? That is what's going to determine the greatness that's inside of you. Again, I'm a living example. I know the power that's in it. I recognize the authority that's in us. We weren't created out of brokenness. We weren't created out of lack and limitation. We weren't created from adversity. We were created out of greatness. We were created out of perseverance. We were created out of invincibility. We were created from the pureness of the truest of love that there is. So therefore, right now, you have the greatness inside of you to still serve in the midst of everything that you are going through. Even in the midst of questioning your own ability, you can get up and go and prove that you are that great right now. You got that. You got that. I know that you have that. I know that you have that. When we were talking to those young kings and queens yesterday at that middle school, to hear the things that they were saying, the purity that was coming out of their hearts, and still seeing that those kids are still going on in life and that they didn't give up in life, that let me know that your grown butt right now can go out there and be great in the midst of what you're going through. Period. But you have to recognize it. I was sent today to remind you of the greatness that's still inside of you. Because the law is given and shall be given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That's why you're not getting what you desire out of life, because you are living in the midst of your bull crap, and you said that this is what life is. It's not. You have to understand this. Let me leave you with this, kings and queens. This is what you have to understand. That you are not being fought for where you are. You are being fought for where you're going. Let me say that again. You are not going through this adversity for where you are. You are going through this adversity for where you're going. You already conquered where you are. You already are where you are. This is to fight you for where you are going, for the greatness that still lives in you. Listen, if I was your opponent, right? And I knew that if you got to your destination that you would have more power, right? That you would be more prepared, right? I'm going to try to knock you out right now. I'm going to try to knock you out right now. That's just like, coming from the streets, right? If you in a building or if you in a club with somebody, you know what I mean? And the cat get to popping that rah, rah, rah. And I'm about to go to my car. I'm about to pop my trunk. I'm going to knock you out before you get to your trunk. Because I know you got more power when you get to that trunk. But I know right now that the punk in you, I can knock you out right now before you even get to the trunk. So what I'm saying to you is that the greatness that you're heading to is what is trying to be stopped. Because the adversary knows that when you get to that next destination, you're going to reach that power up button. And then the next destination, you're going to reach another power up button. So if I can get you to stop right now, if I can get you to question yourself right now, if I can get you to look at your ankle sprain or your finger fracture, you know what I mean? Or your bones spur or your bone bruise, if I can get you to look at the fact that you just got concussed, if I can get you to stop right now, I win. I win. Can you play while you're injured? That's the question. Can you be great right now in the midst of your crisis? That's the question. But when you recognize that you're not being fought for where you are, you're being fought for where you're going, you keep fighting. Thank you guys. That's my time. I love you guys. God bless you guys. But remember, man, listen, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle, because we do this every day, not to impress people, but to leave an impression on the earth, man. You guys have the ability to be great right now in the midst of what you're going through. And I thank you guys for your support. We're taking donations right now. We're building something beyond Facebook. I want everybody to have the opportunity to invest, to be a part of this, man, to be great along with us. So we're taking donations, man. If you want to donate, hit me up at Andrew D. Clayborn, at CLAYBORN @gmail.com, or inbox me for the instructions, or DM me. I love you guys. Have a thankful Thursday. If y'all missed this video, man, go back, rewind, and get this money. Peace.